What's up guys, it's Humphrey. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, I make videos here on YouTube on personal finance and investing. Today I wanted to talk about the best ways to build credit, and I realized I've actually made a few YouTube videos before on credit, but those videos are mostly detailing how the credit score is actually calculated. Instead, today I wanted to share with you guys a step-by-step guide on the best ways to build credit. I know that a lot of you guys that are watching are quite younger, and sometimes I do get the occasional person DMing me saying,
"Hey Humphrey, I think you can make it in life without credit."
And while I don't tend to super disagree with that, I don't love it either, because without credit, you're just making your life a whole ton more difficult when it really doesn't need to be that difficult. I do think by having a good credit score, you actually make your life easier in some ways. So for example, when you buy a new car, when you buy a house, when you buy a rental property, or when you just go to actually just rent an apartment, having a good credit score is gonna make it a lot easier. A credit score is essentially a financial report card. Basically, as someone lends you money and you pay it off, every time there's a new instance of that, your credit score gets stronger and stronger. And having a good credit score will mean you'll be able to save more money in the long run, especially if you use your credit score in the right ways. There's this common misconception, especially with those people that tell me they don't need a credit score, that you need to spend a lot of money to actually maintain good credit. And that's completely not the case. There are plenty of free methods to build your credit, and there are ways that you can build your credit without going into massive debt. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you guys 4 different methods to build credit. Most of them are free, and if you follow the exact steps in this video, you're gonna have a really easy time building your credit in a really responsible way. That means by the time you actually do want to go lease a car or buy a home or get a rental property, you're going to qualify for the lower interest rates. And these lower interest rates means that you're going to actually save a lot of money in the long run. The first method to build your credit super easily is actually to get something called a secured credit card. I will preface this section and say, if you are a bad spender, that means if you do get your hands on a credit card and you know you're going to spend a ton of money on it without any abandon, or basically with reckless abandon, then don't get a credit card. But for the majority of people that are watching this, being able to spend responsibly on a credit card is going to be the fastest way to build your credit. Now, what a secured credit card is basically a card that requires collateral for you to open. The bank doesn't really quite trust you yet because you don't have a credit score. So instead, what they do is they request a deposit of around $200 to $300, sometimes even up to $500. And instead they trade you a credit card so that you're able to build your credit, but they hold on to your $300 or $500. In the case that you don't pay off your credit card, then they have something to basically use to pay off your bills. A secured credit card, you should always make sure that you're getting one with no annual fee so that this is completely free for you to build your credit on. Now, the best part of having a secured credit card, in my opinion, is that you don't need to spend a lot of money on it to actually build your credit. Just spend, responsibly. So spend like $5 here and there on it, maybe 20 bucks a month at most. And by the end of the month, if you just have 20 bucks on it and you're able to pay it off in full every month for 6 to 12 months, you're gonna be building your credit. And then all of a sudden, after like 6 to 12 months of continually doing this, the lender or the credit card company at some point is going to return your deposit to you, $200, $300 worth, because now they understand that you are a trustworthy individual that is able to pay off their bills on time. So with a secured credit card strategy, what you essentially want to do is basically spend 20 bucks a month on it, pay it off in full. Don't spend any extra money. So basically don't spend money that you wouldn't have already spent on your secured credit card. What you really want to be using your secured credit card for are everyday transactions that you would have spent money on already. So I preface this section with spending habits. And so if you are someone who doesn't know how to keep their spending habits in check, then maybe a secured credit card isn't right for you. But for the majority of you guys, if you just follow those steps, which are 1, to open up a secured credit card, 2, make sure it's free. 3, just spend about $5 to $20, maybe $50 a month on your secured credit card and pay it off in full. Then after 6 to 12 months, you're gonna be building your credit in a really responsible and sustainable way. As far as what secured card to actually get, what you can do is you can go to your local bank or your credit union and ask them if they offer any secured cards. You can also just apply for a Discover It secured card online, which is one of my favorites because 1, it's secured, but 2, it also offers you rewards and cash back for using it. There are some other great picks online. If you just Google search best secured cards, you can find some other options, such as the Capital One secured MasterCard. The secured credit card and credit card strategy is one of the best ways and most efficient ways to build credit. As long as you're doing it responsibly and sustainably, then within 6 to 12 months, your credit score could actually look pretty good. Speaking of credit cards, another free method you can do to build your credit is to get added as an authorized user on someone else's credit card. Ideally, you pick someone that you trust and who also has a good credit score and is paying off their bills on time. But essentially, if you can get someone else to agree to add you as an authorized user, you also get a copy of their credit card, basically their credit card account. And you don't even have to spend any money on this card. You can just literally leave it in a drawer. But essentially what you're doing here is you're piggybacking off of their credit. And by doing nothing, just by being attached to their account, you're gonna build credit in a natural way. This is best done if you're under the age of 18, because when you're under 18, you don't really have any other methods to build credit. So this can kind of get you a head start. But you can also do this when you're after the age of 18. And I think it's a pretty cool hack, especially if you agree to not use that person's credit card. So that's another free method that you can do to build your credit using credit cards, but it does require someone else in the situation. And with those situations, it's always a little bit delicate because you want to make sure you pick someone that you trust and you pick someone that you know is going to actually fulfill their credit obligations on time as well. Now, if you want to build credit and don't want to use a credit card, there are some methods to do so, but some of them cost a little bit of money. And the first one I'm going to talk about is called Rental Karma. This one also assumes that you pay rent to a landlord or a property manager, but essentially what this service does, it's a service online and you sign up for it, and basically they verify that you've been paying rent for the past however long you've been at your landlord's place for. What Rental Karma does is basically they call your landlord up and they ask if you've been actually paying your rent on time and in full. If you have, Rental Karma takes this information and they submit it, because they're an intermediary, they submit it to credit reporting agencies, and that gets reflected onto your credit score. Basically, your rent being on time is qualifying you as credit on-time payments. Now, this service costs between $30 to $60 from what I've researched, and they do have some really good reviews on Trustpilot. They have a 4.5 average rating. Now, I don't know if that's amazing, but that is pretty good, and there are a lot of people that have even said that they've increased their credit score by using this service, sometimes even upwards of 100 points or more. Now, obviously, there are going to be some one-star reviews too. I mean, this section of the video isn't really sponsored. I was just doing some research on this company, but it seemed like from all the one-star reviews I was reading on Trustpilot, it was mostly because Rental Karma couldn't actually reach the landlord to verify the payments. So this service also depends on how good your landlord is. Let's say your landlord is someone who's really responsible and really willing to chat and verify your on-time payments, then you're gonna have no problems with Rental Karma. But on the other hand, if your landlord is someone who's a little bit more, let's say, harder to reach, maybe doesn't wanna help as much, maybe your microwave has been broken for the last 6 months and he's not doing anything about it, then maybe Rental Karma is not for you. In any case, I wanted to present at least another option for you to build your credit without using a credit card, because I know that a lot of people don't just want credit card options to build credit. Another way to build credit pretty easily is to have a cosigner on any type of loan that you're about to get. Now, this is not a super free method. I mean, technically it is free because getting a cosigner is free, but the fact is that you're trying to get a cosigner for like an auto loan, for example, so you're gonna be spending some money anyway. But the idea is that as long as you're already trying to get that auto loan, having a cosigner is actually going to help improve your credit, so long as the cosigner's credit score is above, let's say, a 670 credit score. What a cosigner is basically like a vouch for you. So essentially that person who's your cosigner is vouching that you're going to make those payments on time. And if you don't make those payments on time, then they're on the hook for it. So a cosigner, like I said, needs to pretty much have good credit and also be willing to be your cosigner. So it's generally someone that you know pretty well, such as a family member or a parent. So essentially, this is one of the easiest ways to get a credit boost, but it is very situational because essentially you need to be in the market for an auto loan or basically buying a home. And if you're in the market for an auto loan or buying a home, it means that you've already had some income and you should have some credit score already. But if you, for some reason, don't have a credit score and you need a cosigner for these activities, then that is one way to build your credit with a cosigner. So to sum up this video, basically getting a secured credit card is the most easiest and most responsible way to actually do it, and the quickest way to do it because you're going to get so many on-time payments so frequently. It is still my preferred method to actually build credit, so if you can get a secured credit card into an unsecured credit card later on, I would suggest that method. As always, getting added as an authorized user is a good way for a credit boost. Same with actually having a cosigner. And then obviously if you pay rent, there are going to be those rental services like the one I talked about today. Rental Karma is one of them. I think there are a few other ones too. So don't just look at one of them, but do your own research when it comes to this. So yeah, this has been 4 ways that you can build credit. I hope that you learned something from this video. If you did, please make sure to like the video, gently tap, or maybe really hardly tap the subscribe button so that you get more videos from me. And also tick the notification bell because then you get notified whenever I drop a video. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. My username is Humphrey Talks. If you're ever just bored scrolling on your Instagram and you want to come see me, that's where I'll be. If you'd like 2 free stocks from Webull, valued up to $1,600 when you deposit $100, make sure to use my link in the description below for that. Lastly, thanks to all my Patreon supporters. I really appreciate you supporting me over there, and I will see you guys in the next video, which hopefully will be in a couple days here. So, peace.